Hello everyone, I'm Maria from UnityPredict, and today I'm going to show you how you can make your own knowledge-based chatbot powered by your documentation. Today we're going to build a simple chatbot that can answer questions based on the Los Angeles building code. To do this, we're going to host our code on UnityPredict and test it out by asking some simple questions. This is really easy to do, and the setup can be done in under 10 minutes. So let's get to it. The first thing we need to do is head over to unitypredict.com and sign up. To do this, we can use our username and password or sign up using a Google account. So that's what I'm going to do. After signing up, read through the terms and conditions, and we are ready to move forward. So now that everything is ready, let's get to know the platform. Similarly to GitHub, UnityPredict has repositories that are used for access control. Your engines and models always belong to a specific repository. An engine is the place where our code lives and is hosted, and the model is the interface that allows UnityPredict to invoke our engine. We can even have several models pointing at the same engine. In this video, we will start by the basics. So we'll just have one engine hosting our trained chatbot code and one model creating an interface to that engine. And we'll also start by using our personal repository. To start, we could actually use a web-based code editor in the platform, but I always prefer to use the SDK. This allows me to code using my favorite IDE. But to do that, we need to first create an API key. So I'm going to head over to my profile here on the bottom left. And here on the security tab, I'm going to create a new API key. You can give it a description and create the key to get our local machine authenticated and connected to the UnityPredict APIs. The next thing we need to do is download the code that is publicly available on GitHub. So let's just do that and download it from there. So let's head over to github.com/unitypredict/QAbot and click in codes and download zip. So here's our download file, and now the next thing we need to do is extract the contents of the file. And we are ready to open it in our favorite IDE. So I'm just going to head over to VS Code and open my folder. Because we are setting up for the first time, let's start by configuring the UnityPredict SDK. In the terminal interface, I'm going to open it. And I'm going to run the command pip install UnityPredict -engines. And it will install the SDK. Once this has installed, I'm going to run UnityPredict -help. And here you can see all the commands available. In this case, we're going to use UnityPredict -configure. And here the CLI will ask you for your API key, which we have created in the previous step. So let's head over to our profile and use this icon to copy our API key. So that's configuration done. And since this GitHub code is a generic template, we need to update some of the credentials. We want to push our code using the UnityPredict CLI, so we need to define which repo it will get deployed to. In the folder QAbot engine, we're going to open the config.json file. And here you can see that there's a field called parent repository ID. We need to go ahead to UnityPredict and copy the ID from our repository. Next, as our model uses HuggingFace and OpenAI, we need to insert our credentials. To do that, let's navigate to config.env.example in the main folder and change here the OpenAPI key and also the HuggingFace token. This is just a template, so we need to change the name of the file to config.env. And basically, the PowerShell script train and deploy uses the config.env file to populate our vector store for the chatbot, and uses the sources folder, in this case the HLCT handbook, to train our model. This file has all the commands necessary to train our model and uses the UnityPredict CLI to deploy it. So we're going to run the PowerShell file. And if it's the first time you're running it, you may see this error. This is easy to fix. We just need to update the config to bypass the execution policy for the local script. So let's run the command. And we adjusted the execution policy so we can run the command again. This will create our virtual environment, install the necessary packages, train the model on our documentation, and do the deployment of the software to the platform. So let's just wait for a little bit. Now, once the command has finished running, we can jump back into the platform, and in the tab My Engines, you can see that there is a new QABot engine listed. But now we have to create a model that connects to the engine. So let's go to My Models, and I'm going to create a new model that I'm going to call QABot, and I'm going to assign it to the repository that we've used previously and to the engine that was just created. Clicking Save. And now I'm going to be prompted to enter a description for the model. Scrolling down, we're going to add an interface of a chatbot, so it appears as a chatbot in the preview. For this example, I'm going to select the model as active. And the last thing we need to do is to add an input called input message and an output called output message. This is because in our code, if we go to the engine folder, our code expects this variable as input and creates the output message variable as output. So that's all we need to do. Let's head over, save the model, and we are ready to try it. Let's first change the interface to chatbot and see if it's working by saying hello. Now that we know it's working, let's ask a question about the documentation we used to train it. So let's ask, who wrote the LACT handbook? Okay, and given the answers, we can check back in our source file and confirm it's correct. And that's it. It took less than 10 minutes to get our chatbot up and running. Next, I can make my model public, embed it in my website, or even list it in the UnityPredict Model Central Marketplace. If you have any questions, please don't hesitate to reach out to our support team or refer to the UnityPredict documentation. Thank you for watching.